Okay, we'll come to order then. Okay, I don't have an agenda in front of me. I presume the first thing we want to do is adopt the proposed agenda. Can I hear a motion that we do so?
Question? We have, part of this is executive session. It's now where I would object to this going into executive session. I see the purpose of the executive session, so would I have to object to that now, or would that be a motion at the time?
Is executive session to discuss investment matters and to receive legal advice?
Well, I don't, I've got this here. I've got retirement system book here. And it seems our exemptions all are around decisions on investments, the deliberations, and if they would jeopardize the ability to implement a decision. These are global custody issues. They don't have to be personalized in the name of a particular investment. I don't think that we should jettison the idea of transparency and accountability. I think there's nothing here that we can do today that we can't do in public, and I think we should do it in public.
Well, right, the time to raise that will be when we vote on whether to go into executive session.
That's what I did. Thank you, sir.
I don't believe that's an exhaustive list of the reasons we can go into executive session, but I'm asking you to look at that. I believe there are other reasons too. Subject to that coming up for a vote at the appropriate time, I hear a motion that we adopt the agenda. So moved. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Okay.
What was the vote on that? Was it unanimous?
The reason I call this meeting is to discuss and determine a reasonable and practical legal strategy for handling what appears to be an imminent threat to one of our investments. I'm going to yield to the Chief Operating Officer to give us a timeline of events leading us up to this point, and then summarize before suggesting that an executive session to receive legal advice be convened. When I say leading us up to this point, the point at which we are is that we have a duly authorized commission investment that was authorized at the November 2012 meeting that invested Warburg Pincus, a private equity partnership. The 30-day review period expired, but first it was extended for approximately 18 days and it expired. And I have signed the limited partnership subscription agreement and the side letter, which will be the organic documents for the creation of the investment relationship between the commission and Warburg Pincus. We have today is the deadline for closing that investment, this round of that investment. With the first round we missed because of the extended review period. And what I'm hoping is we can conclude this meeting in time by 2:45 or 3 o'clock so that we can make the closing by hitting the send button and sending in the requested documents sometime later this afternoon after we conclude this. Anyway, that's the point where we are. And now let me ask the Chief Operating Officer, Mr. Oliver, to give us a more precise and definitive chronology of events leading us up to this point.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I wanted to point out before I read this timeline.
Gary, can you speak up a little bit? You're hard to hear on the phone. I can hear you, but you're faint.
Okay, yeah, I'll do that.
Thanks.
I wanted to point out that before I get started here with this timeline, it's rather lengthy, and I appreciate everybody's indulgence in me getting through it. I've been an employee of the commission for actually 1 month now. And so I wasn't involved on the front end of this particular investment, but I've been involved on the back end through this review process. And based on my review of the current process as it stands with the commission and discussions with the staff, it appears that we have followed all currently approved procedures and processes to review, evaluate, recommend, and approve this investment. So on October 31st, before the commission meeting, the Internal Investment Committee's due diligence summary, and the Commission's consultant, Hewitt Enos Knupp's recommendation for the investment in Warburg Private Equity Fund 11 was posted on the Commissioner's extranet. On November 5th, 2012, Andrew Chernick, the Director of Internal Audit and Compliance, signed off on the completion of the due diligence. The next day, November 6, 2012, the sourcing and conflict disclosure forms for the investment were posted on the Commissioner's extranet. On November 8th, 2012, at the Commission meeting, Dave Klauka presented the staff's recommendation to make the investment, and Hewitt Enos Knupp also supported the decision to invest in their report. And at that meeting, Dr. Pritchett, the Commissioner, made a motion to adopt the recommendations of the investment committee to authorize an investment not to exceed $50 million in Warburg Pincus Fund 11, authorize the chairman or his designee to negotiate and execute any necessary documents to implement the investment as approved by the Commission upon documented approval for legal sufficiency by legal counsel, and upon the expiration of the 30-day review period by the Commissioners, as adopted by the Commission on July 19, 2012, and authorize the chairman and/or the CIO or their designees to thereafter authorize the custodian of funds to transfer such funds as are necessary to meet the retirement system trust fund's obligations with regard to the investment. Commissioner Jim Powers seconded the motion, which was unanimously approved by the Commissioners. On January 30th, 2013, Ms. Dory Diddy emailed the standard 30-day review commencement email to the Commissioners and posted the following documents to the secure portal: the side letter, the LPA, the private placement memorandum, 3 supplements to the PPM, the investor questionnaire and representations, the investment summary memo, list of contact information for service providers, the SOC 1 report with independent auditors report, examples of cash distribution notice, security distribution notice, and capital call notice. Same day, January 30th, 2013, Dory Diddy also emailed Treasurer Loftus the standard letter noting the posting of the documents and his special informational requests for his May 2012 request. On February 5th, 2013, Brenda Gatson emailed a request to the STO, State Treasurer's Office, to open an account for the investment. Same day, February 5th, 2013, Treasurer Loftus forwarded Dory Diddy's January 30th email to the Attorney General Budget and the Budget and Control Board, indicating that he wants printed documents. On February 20th, 2013, Brenda Gatson followed up with the STO regarding opening the account for the investment. The State Treasurer's Office reported that Treasurer Loftus had the form that needed to be signed. On February 28th, during the Commission meeting, the Commission agreed to deliver hard copy paper documents to Treasurer Loftus and provided an additional 2-week period for Treasurer Loftus to review the documents. Treasurer Loftus did not state this extension was insufficient. On March 1st, the next day, 2013, Betsy Byrne sent the copies of the requested documents to Treasurer Loftus per the Commission instruction. On March 4th, 2013, there was a pension and investments article published that stated, and I'll quote, Mr. Loftus said in an interview he was receiving a hard copy of the Warburg Pincus contract and will transfer assets for the capital call, end quote. On March 14th, 2013, Treasurer Loftus verbally confirmed to Dory Diddy that he had no issues or concerns relating to the funding of the investment now that he had received the paper documents, and further that he would send an email to that effect the next day. He told Dory Diddy in person that he would be sending his note of approval the following day, and then Dory Diddy sent me an email indicating that upon my inquiry of the status of Warburg. On March 15th, 2013, Treasurer Loftus emailed Dory Diddy requesting information relating to Warburg's custodian. Dory Diddy emailed the SOC 1 report, which lists key contacts for Warburg service providers, and the Commission's investment summary memo, noting the pages related to the custodian for Treasurer Loftus's convenience to find it quickly, and noting the side letter provision providing STO staff access to information. Dory Diddy also noted that these documents were previously provided on January 30th, 2013. On March 15th, 2013, same day, Mike McDermott emailed Dave Klauka asking Dave to send Treasurer Loftus an email, and that Treasurer Loftus does not want to hold up the process but has an outstanding question or two about custody. On March 16th, 2013, Treasurer Loftus emailed Dory Diddy asking about the document of legal sufficiency. Dory Diddy responded that the legal sufficiency was provided in the January 30th email and offered to provide additional information if requested. On March 17th, 2013, Treasurer Loftus emailed Dory Diddy indicating he did not believe that the January 30th email provided the documents that the email did not provide that the documents were legally sufficient, and said the custodian institution was not named, and he had concerns that the arrangements were general in nature and not about this specific fund. March 18th, 2013 was the expiration of the second review period provided to Treasurer Loftus. And on March 18th, 2013, Dory Diddy met with legal staff and me, reviewed Treasurer Loftus's questions from the 17th, and we agreed to fully respond that day within this 2-week deadline. We read the email, Dory summarized the concerns, we reached out to other investment staff and other appropriate staff in the office, including Dave Klauka, to ensure we had all the necessary information to respond. Upon my instruction, Dory Diddy prepared the response and emailed that document to all the commissioners, noting that the additional 2-week review period had expired, reiterating the documents were legally sufficient, and providing information that the custodian was in fact named in other documents. That same day, March 18, 2013, Chairman Williams responded to everybody on that email stating that the commission has permission to affix his signature. Same day, March 18, 2013, Treasurer Loftus responded to Chairman Williams' email saying that he would not be funding the capital call because he had not yet read Dory Diddy's email. Same day, March 18, 2013, Treasurer Loftus emailed Dory Diddy requesting a specific page of the full SOC 1 report that had been previously sent and posted on the secure portal on January 30th. Same day, March 18, 2013, Treasurer Loftus emailed Dave Klauka stating he was in process of sending questions to Dave, but the chairman had ordered the agreement signed. March 18, 2013, Dory Diddy responded to the Treasurer Loftus's request by providing the SOC 1 report. Next day, March 19, 2013, Brenda Gadsden emailed the STO asking for an update on opening the Warburg 11 account and asking if STO needed additional information. On March 19, 2013, Dory Diddy emailed Bill Condon asking for help figuring out why STO had suggested he would default on Warburg. On March 19, 2013, Dory Diddy exchanged emails with Treasurer Loftus asking what his concerns were and how we can resolve whatever issues he had. Treasurer Loftus reiterated he would not be funding the investment. I will point out that those past few days, I had asked Dory Diddy to work with the Treasurer's office to see if these things could be resolved and get clarity on the issues. On March 21st, since that didn't appear to get resolved, I wanted to get clarity myself, so I emailed Bill Leidinger asking for clarification about Treasurer Loftus's intent to fund, and specifically asking why he would cause a default when I believe the staff fully responded to the approved process leading to this approved investment. We were then informed via emails that day that we would be getting a letter from Treasurer Loftus, and later in that day, March 21st, Treasurer Loftus sent Chairman Williams a letter indicating he does not plan to fund Warburg 11, because the commission did not issue a, quote, required document of legal sufficiency, end quote, signed by the commission's general counsel, and he had not received information sufficient to determine whether the assets will be properly safeguarded. The next day, March 22nd, 2013, I responded at the request of the Chairman Williams to Treasurer Loftus's letter after consultation with the staff and reviewing all the documents and information available, explaining we believe legal sufficiency as it was presently being handled by the Commission on Investments to date was satisfied, and that sufficient information was provided about custodial arrangements to address Treasurer Loftus's safeguard concerns, and said we expected the Treasurer to fulfill his responsibility to fund this properly approved investment upon receipt of a capital call. Lastly, earlier this week, March 26th, I met with Treasurer Loftus at his office. This meeting was actually set a few weeks earlier as part of my orientation where I was having a one-on-one meeting with all the commissioners. But during this meeting, I purposely wanted to discuss the Warburg situation and Treasurer Loftus's issues raised. We discussed how I believed we had reasonably, appropriately, and satisfactorily addressed them. Treasurer Loftus disagreed and verbally reaffirmed that he would not fund the investment. Thanks, Mr. Chairman.
In what way, Mr. Treasurer, has the commission not answered those two questions?
Well, let's back up. A couple things. Information is indeed received the way it's presented. Gary, thank you very much. I think you probably did as well as you could. You've definitely given your side of the story. And so there's several things going on. We go back to the September meeting, go back to the November meeting, we go back to the February meeting. There's been a fair amount of discussion about legal sufficiency. Now, why are we discussing legal sufficiency? Because when I started looking at contracts, I found that the summary investment memos do not equal the terms of the contract. We, in fact, under one contract that I studied at length, and under several others that I've studied not quite as extensively, had different fee schedules. Now, we're talking a $26.6 billion fund. I've checked one contract, and the contract was not legally sufficient by any term that I could imagine.
In what way is the Warburg-Pincus contract not legally sufficient in your opinion?
Because we had a statement of legal sufficiency. And long before I came to this commission, we have been doling out billions of dollars of retirees' money based on a statement of legal sufficiency by the general counsel. When I asked for that to be in writing, I cannot get one. Now, it bothers me, it troubles me as a businessman and as a custodian of the funds that for years we've doled out billions of dollars of other people's money on a verbal statement, but now when I ask that someone's name be affixed to it, I can't get that. So that's a problem. As the custodian, I cannot forget that, Mr. Chairman.
Well, Mr.
And so
Treasurer,
I will not allow funds.
Mr. Oliver specifically said there was a document.
There is not a document.
From our legal counsel saying it was legally
There is
sufficient.
not a document of legal
Well, I've
sufficiency.
seen it, and Mr.
Well, you've
Oliver
seen
said
an
it.
email.
Well, why don't we
That's a
produce it?
document.
Yeah, produce it. Produce
Why
it.
don't we produce it and sell it?
Yeah. We live in this world.
All right, let's go on to the second.
No, that's not, we're not going anywhere yet.
We can come back
You
to the
called,
first point.
I'm not finished yet. You called a meeting, you had specifically that you were going to give remarks, we're going to session, and then I come here and I get this long recitation of your side of the facts. You've cowardly attacked me once before, you're not going to
You know
do it
what?
again.
I've had enough.
You're out of order.
That
Mr.
name
Loftus.
calling is going to stop here and now, and you should conduct yourself as a gentleman and as a civil person. And that name calling is absolutely unacceptable, and I think he deserves an apology.
You'll not get one from me.
Well, then you better,
All right.
I've said enough.
All right, I don't need an apology.
We've had enough.
From Mr. Loftus.
There's a motion. I've made a motion to adjourn, please. I'll second.
I'll second. Do your job.
I will do my job, and I will not take any more nonsense from you.
A motion to adjourn takes precedence over all other motions, so we need to have a vote on that.
Yeah.
All in favor of adjourning signify by saying aye.
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 Ayes have it.